A few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com. Ba 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 da 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 ba 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 no. You found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, ba, ba.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKG in Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Fired up, prepared, pumped. You just can't even believe it. It's DGG Eve. And here's what I'm doing for DGG Eve. I'm DGGing it. I'm going full bore. I'm going all out. I'm going fired up. I'm going focused and prepared. People say, Tony, now what are you doing with this DGG thing? Do you know? Nobody knows. I mean, here's the deal. Tennessee feels like they got him, right? And by the way, James Clausen is going to join us tomorrow. Now, we're not going to talk with James Clausen, who is like over the NIL. We're not going to talk with James tomorrow about this per se. We are going to talk about how they've been able to do what they've done, how they got the jump on everybody 5 years ago, how they basically have set the market. Today on the program, John Adams is en route, so he's going to be here momentarily. His absence presented by Jennifer Morris, Next Move, SmokyMountains.com. She fires me up. She focuses me. She prepares me. But John's going to be with us today. Before I do anything else, I've got a correspondent who's going to join us now. And this guy's glass, okay, has been half empty the whole time. Laura, answer that. That's me. His glass has been half empty the entire time. And ladies and gentlemen, his name is the Lumbo. Let's go ahead and bring the Lumbo in here without further ado. Lumbo, you're in the Lumbo. And you fire me up, you focus me, and you prepare me. And Lumbo, I would like you're my boots on the ground, okay? Now, tomorrow's the big announcement. You're our boots on the ground in Columbus, Ohio. And before anybody poo-poos Mark and his information and this, that, and the other, listen to me. Listen to me now, okay? Before anybody poo-poos Lumbo, the guy knows, okay? And he knows people. He knows people. Just like we were telling you early on that this defensive end, as he drilled down on it, was going to be trouble. And he didn't like the vibe, and he didn't, the vibe. Remember, he didn't like the vibe. And the Lumbo knew. Lumbo was telling you that. The guy wasn't coming back. Now, I'm checking out the Lumbo. I got to just take a deep breath here. Tomorrow's going to be an unbelievable day. Tomorrow we're going to do the show. James Clausen will be with us. Then we're going to, before I bring the Lumbo, then we're going to do our post-game show tomorrow night. After his big announcement, people say, what are you doing? That's a huge deal. Are you kidding me? Lumbo, do you agree with us doing, if Tennessee gets home with him tomorrow night, or win or lose, I'm going to do one, but do you agree with us doing a Garza Law extra tomorrow? Lumbo, yes or no?
Absolutely. You're beating the number one program out there for a kid they've been recruiting for 5 years. I'm thrilled to death.
Yep. Tell me about it, Lumbo. Lumbo, what are you hearing? What are you hearing right now? I'm going to give you the floor. Break it down.
Amir's done. I mean, and they don't have a backup plan. Like, all their eggs were in this basket. So you beat them for the kid that they've had all their eggs in this basket for 4 years. This Bo Jackson cat is going to be back as a sophomore. They don't have a back behind him. They don't have a back in this class. Like, this is it. And we snookered them. And we act like a big boy that we are. Credit to the collective. Credit to Danny White. Credit to Josh Heupel. Credit to all of them. This is a huge deal. Listen to this offense next year, Tony. You got 5-star quarterback. You got 2 5-star wide receivers. You got 2 5-star offensive tackles. Go get some skull thumpers on defense, and this thing's ready to roll. I mean, this is the biggest recruiting win since when, in your opinion? I mean, don't count Nico because we didn't really beat anybody for him. We just went in and set the market.
I think it's a great question. I have no idea.
I can't even.
I can't think of one. No, I can't.
But like this kid, to me, if he plays to the potential everybody thinks he is, I mean, I think we're talking about a Peyton Manning level impact on the program. Go win a Heisman in this offense.
I think that's really, 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 really the question here. I think this is really, really the question, which is how do you put in perspective what tomorrow is going to mean? Because it's credibility from within, meaning it's going to be credibility from within this program. Heupel's going to be seen in a different way tomorrow night. That's the reality. That's how important this guy is. We were talking about it, but he's going to be seen as, and then you've got this thing. Heupel yesterday at his media gathering said something pretty interesting about this freshman quarterback. He said he's the first in and he's the last out. They think they've got something in him, Colombo. Now this is going to be year to grow.
There's a reason why some of us said, don't bring the other guy back. Let's see what this kid's got, because 27 is the year. To just get through 26, take some lumps, get this kid some reps, and then be ready to roll in 27. Like real national championship contender good in 2027. Just get through this year. And the only quarterback I would have taken is like Ty Simpson. Other than that, play the kid. It's what you're paying him for.
John Adams is now joining. John Adams is now joining.
Presented by
Jennifer Morris, next move,
SmokyMountains.com.
John, you and I both know that Colombo's not a guy that speaks in hyperbole or says things to say them. He believes it's done, John. He believes it's done. Talk to me. Your thoughts.
And he's very convincing at it too. So, yeah, I appreciate his input. I think those are very good points. And is that hyperbole to say that this player could mean as much as to the program as Peyton Manning? In a way, it is, of course. And I don't think when you talk about a running back in today's game, a running back can impact a game the way the quarterback can. However, what's so significant to me with this recruitment, if Tennessee, in fact, closes the deal, is it's gone to head with a monster program with maybe certainly one of the top few programs in the country that has all the resources. Ohio State is the kind of program you have to be able to beat to win a national championship. Now, it might not be in your path in the playoffs, but another program might be. It could be a Texas. It would be one of those kind of programs. You're going to have to beat them because Ohio State has all the resources.
Yep.
It has the NIL clout. It has a historically successful coach. And it has tremendous tradition. And to me, the most significant thing about Ohio State in the last few years, and you can use this in comparing it to Tennessee. Alabama lost probably its best player a few years ago to Ohio State. Caleb Downs, All-American safety down the NFL. Ohio State says, we can use this guy. Took him away from Alabama. And the idea that Ohio State, it also took away Alabama's quarterback because he was just a freshman at the time, Julian Sayed. But now he's the guy and one of the top quarterbacks in the country. Ohio State took them away from Alabama.
And let's not forget what they did to Ole Miss. They took their top running back. I mean, here's the thing. Yeah. Lumbo, this thing's huge, man. I don't know if our fan base, I don't know if Matt Dixon, who doesn't want me doing a post-game show tomorrow, appreciates it. This thing's huge.
John makes a great point. And in order to compete with the Ohio States of the world on the field, you better be competing with them off the field.
That's right.
In the player acquisition department. That's all that matters is getting dudes. You ain't going to beat them with a bunch of 3- and 4-star kids.
Yeah.
You got to have future first rounders to beat teams like that. I'm just happy that they, along with the basketball roster, now I hope they surround them with guys. Now, you can't just put all your eggs in the running back. I think we've got the money to do that. But it's proven to the country that we're not messing around, and we've got the money. We've always said that. You've said that. Everybody's always said that. Money's never been an issue at Tennessee, ever. Got a lot of money here.
Lumbo, you fired me up. You focused me. You prepared me for the rest of the show. Ryan Callahan of 247 is going to join on the other side on the High Noon Hotline. Lumbo just joined on the High Noon Hotline and dismounted into space. Laura's working the board today. Somebody cracked on her earlier. Let me look here. Danny said Jimi Hendrix must be on the mixer. Danny Jerry Curls. Hey, Danny Jerry Curls. Let me reach down here. Let me do something with you, Danny Jerry Curls. Hang on. Sit right there, buddy. Sit right there and enjoy your 30 minutes off. You better think about it, big boy, before you criticize the work on the board again. Because somebody going to feel this. When we come back, Ryan Callahan on the High Noon Hotline. John Adams is in the house. We unpack it all after this.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. Personally, I'm partial black cherry and pineapple. 14 flavors. That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week. In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon vodka iced tea in 6 refreshing flavors, including peach and lemon, green tea, and half and half. Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon tequila seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, Blood Orange. High Noon real vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate. Look your best. Get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has the best selection. Top brands for you to choose from this season. Look, it's nice and warm outside. So get into any of their 6 air-conditioned East Tennessee locations. Shop online, download the app, grab your Tennessee baseball jersey, your hat, your decal, maybe a t-shirt, and they have so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Go Vols and shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Touch them all with Alumni Hall.
When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio Show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday tradition. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Cards aloft. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
With Gary Sturm. He's with Mortgage Investors Group, making our community a better place every day. Gary, you've been at it 32 years, man.
Yes, Tony, I've been at Mortgage Investors Group for 32 years. We've known each other since, back in the 80s, right?
And we've gotten to know each other recently as our family has gotten involved with another mortgage. Through that whole process, you were a prince, just like Jeker. When he called you at 3 o'clock in the morning after a Tennessee loss, you've been giving your phone number out for a couple decades. And why is that, Gary?
This is the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make. You don't want to trust somebody online, some 800 number. You want to call somebody like myself that's going to give you my number, and you can call me anytime. I'm there to help you. I'm there to help you and your family, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your trust in me. You can call me anytime. You can be like Jeker and call me at 2 a.m. and complain about the balls just like he did. I'd rather you call me about a mortgage, but that's okay. If you want to cry about the balls, we can do that too. I'm a ball at heart. You know that. And if you want to come in and meet with me face to face, I'm here. If you want to do it online, I'm here. That's fine. If you're curious if you can qualify to buy a house, people know the housing market's tough. That's what I'm here for. There's no obligation. You can call me anytime. I get you pre-qualified. Or maybe you've got a mortgage and you're thinking about refinancing. Maybe you want to shorten the term. Maybe you want to go to a 15-year. Who knows? But again, that's what I'm here for. It's what I've been here for 32 years. My number is 865-660-2648. It's 865-660-2648.
Gary Sturm at Mortgage Investors Group, going to take great care of you.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, get 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair when you schedule service with Pipe Wrench Home Services. Our licensed technicians are equipped to diagnose the issue, explain your options, and get the repair done right the first time. Don't let a small problem turn into a major headache. That strange noise from your air conditioner, the water heater that's not keeping up, or the drain that keeps backing up won't fix itself. The longer you wait, the bigger the problem can become. At Pipe Wrench Home Services, we make repairs simple with friendly technicians and fast, reliable service that you can count on. We'll arrive ready to identify the problem and get your home back to normal as quickly as possible. Take advantage of 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair and schedule your appointment today at pipewrench.com. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. Restrictions may apply. Eligible for repairs up to $5,000. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
TP back with you, 865-200-5402 as you welcome me back. Fired up, focused, and prepared. Matt Dixon's in the house now. And we're trying to get up with Ryan Callahan, 247. Huge time, huge day, lots going on. Matt Dixon, how we doing, buddy?
Doing great. Good to be back on with you guys.
Yeah, man. How fired up, focused, and prepared are you for DGG right now, Dixon? Are you getting swept up in it yet?
I'll be excited when he commits, and even more excited to see him on the field, I guess, next fall.
John, are we taking the right tact here?
It's a huge get for.
It's huge.
I think.
Yeah, it's huge. John, do you feel like we're taking the right tact here?
Well, yeah, Tony. I mean, particularly you. I mean, you have a really good feel for these kind of things, and
Yes.
you traffic in hyperbole. You go to extremes, and you make that work. There's nothing wrong with that. So, again, when I look at this situation, you don't know how good this running back will be. Just like you don't know how good Faison Brandon will be as a quarterback.
Right.
Nobody knows this kind of stuff. Go back. I was writing a column just in case it does sign him about some past guys. Go back to the Lane Kiffin era, 2009. One of the first big hits for Lane Kiffin was to get a commitment from Bryce Brown, who was the number one running back in the country. In fact, he was regarded in some circles as the best running back in the last 5 years. Didn't pan out at Tennessee, transferred to Kansas State, hung around the NFL for 5 years, but he was nothing. His career was nothing comparable to what his recruiting, all that hype was. You go and then you look though at say Jamal Lewis. Everybody thought Jamal Lewis could be the back, and I really think Jamal Lewis would have been Tennessee's first only Heisman Trophy winner if he hadn't been injured in '98, because the start of that season he was carrying that offense, and then he tore up his knee against Auburn. But he was on a national championship team with a great offensive line and a quarterback who could run. I just thought Jamal Lewis, and he ended up, almost setting NFL single-season rushing record. So you just don't know. But what's so significant to me about this is the fact that you're going after an elite player, and an elite player that, as Mark pointed out on his call, that Ohio State wants very, very much. Ohio State wins most of these battles. So for Tennessee to step in there and beat out Ohio State, it means a little more even than if it were, say, beating out Georgia or beating out, in my mind, Texas, because you just look what Ohio State has done recently. And another point that Mark made that I thought was really significant. If you got the NIL money and you spend it wisely, that's how you build a championship program. And he pointed out something. Tennessee has gotten elite signees last year and in the running for them this year at wide receiver, at quarterback, and now in Georgia's case, at running back, and then at offensive tackle. I thought last year getting Sanders was a huge coup for Tennessee, the number one offensive.
Let me do this. Ryan Callahan now joins. He's with 247. Okay, that's Sean Adams. He's presented by Jennifer Morris. Next move, SmokyMountains.com. It's unbelievable. Ryan Callahan, you covering this from pillar to post for 247. DGG Mania is running wild, or DGG as we've dubbed him in our little corner of the world. Ryan, how good should Tennessee fans feel about tomorrow, going into tomorrow? Obviously, you never know. We don't speak in absolutes. Nobody does. But how good should Tennessee fans feel about tomorrow, going into tomorrow, in your alleged opinion?
Yeah, I think they should feel good. There's been really no major change down the stretch here that has stolen away the momentum from Tennessee in my view since his official visit to Knoxville early last month. So I think this is set up well for Tennessee. Ohio State has obviously been optimistic for a good portion of this. They were pretty confident at one point, but I think you're seeing down the stretch here that confidence is starting to fade a little bit. I think Ohio State is still hopeful, but that's not a good place to be going into most announcements. So I don't think they know a final verdict for sure. I don't know that he's told either or both schools what he's definitely going to do. But either way, to the degree you can be certain of any announcement, as you said, I think Tennessee fans should feel pretty good going into this one. I think all the signs point to Tennessee being the team to beat, and that's a good place to be.
Ryan Callahan on the High Noon Hard Seltzer Hotline. Ryan, obviously you've had to fend the questions on your board. I've had to fend the questions. People have been extremely antsy about what Tennessee's done in terms of the freshman class and why aren't they more active? And it seems like this is part and parcel of their strategy, which is we're going to go after a few guys that we like, and then we're going to hold a lot of our budget for portal time. This guy is a tremendously huge credibility piece, it feels like.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially just because this class is not, as you said, for better or worse with how it's turned out, this is not as deep of a class in terms of 4 and 5 stars as what they've had the past few years, and especially last year. You know, they're just coming off of a top 10 class that was their highest ranked class under Josh Heupel last year. And yeah, there's been a little bit of a shift in strategy this year. I think that's been, you know, maybe somewhat overplayed to a degree. I don't think we're seeing a wholesale shift from, you know, high school recruiting to portal recruiting, but I think there's been a little more discipline maybe this year where Tennessee's been willing to walk away or let a player go elsewhere if the price gets beyond what it deems reasonable. And that's kind of what you have to do. You know, John mentioned it just a few minutes ago. You got to be smart with how you're spending your money, and I think that's what Tennessee's trying to do. So I don't think it was by design that they've got a class that's currently ranked outside the top 25 and smaller than people might have expected. I think they could easily be at 20 plus commitments this year if things had gone a little bit differently. But with where they are, and certainly with the depth of 4 and 5 stars not being there right now in this class, it does add that much more importance to this announcement. He's not just a good player. You've got a chance to add a difference maker in David Gabriel George, and you have a chance to give this class some real credibility from a national standpoint that it's currently a little bit short on, frankly, because there's only 4 or 5 really highly ranked 4 stars in this class right now.
True or false? When this thing first started out, a lot of the major schools, the big schools, the Miamis of the world, the people with the big, huge budgets, didn't even fool with this guy because the thought was this guy's going to go to Ohio State regardless. Is that a fair read on this kid's recruitment?
You know, I don't think so. I haven't heard anything that suggests that other teams were scared away or anything like that. But I do think from early on it was pretty clear that Tennessee and Ohio State were going to be at least 2 of the teams to beat. Now did that keep some teams from really going far down that road? Maybe, but I can't really speak for a lot of programs, and I haven't heard that. Now I know the perception that was from the beginning that Ohio State was going to be tough to beat from a lot of people. At least that was the perception. That they were, I think, the first offer for him. They had a good relationship from the start. He's been up there, I think, 4 times, something like that in all. But he's been to Tennessee 7 times. You know, he's been in Tennessee more than any other school he's visited. So I think from the start it was more about those 2 teams because they both offered before he played a game at Baylor his sophomore season. So they were in on that one early. And you never know why different recruitments take off the way they do in terms of offers and things like that. But it's hard to say why the Miamis and the Texas of the world are not heavy contenders in this one, but sometimes that's just the way it plays out. And I think he's known from the start that Ohio State and Tennessee were 2 of the schools he was really serious about, and Georgia for that matter. It's just Georgia, once they landed Kamon Spell, a 5-star running back that's currently number 1 at the position on 24/7 Sports. Once they got a guy like him, it was hard to envision DGG being in the same class as him. So I think those were kind of the 3 that he had his sights set on from the start. And whether that scared off any teams, I can't speak for them, but I nobody's told me that scared off other teams, that perception about Ohio State was out there.
Is the Baylor school Adidas announcement just coincidental?
Yes, I think so. I mean, Baylor is such a premier program that it's attractive on its own. It's not just a Tennessee thing or anything like that, but they've clearly become kind of the gold standard in Tennessee with especially with the talent they brought in from outside the state and from Canada in particular. You know, Gabriel Osenda and Jamian Theodore and Shakai Mills-Knight, the running back that's at Ole Miss. They've had quite a run of impressive prospects come through there. So yeah, they're enough of an attraction on their own that I don't think they've got to get help from Tennessee on that front. But yeah, it's certainly something that's helped Tennessee or hasn't hurt Tennessee, at least in this recruitment, to have the alignment with Adidas on both fronts, for David Gabriel George to be playing at an Adidas school in high school and to be able to transition to potentially an Adidas school in college at Tennessee. So is that a big deal? Is that something that Tennessee, made happen? I don't think so. I think Baylor it has enough going for itself on its own that they were an attractive program that people want to align themselves with on all fronts.
Ryan Callahan joining on the High Noon Hard Seltzer Hotline. John Adams and/or Matt Dixon jump in here with Ryan Callahan.
Ryan, you've got a lot of experience now in recruiting, but I can remember years ago when getting the number one running back in the country mattered just about as much as getting the number one quarterback. And you look back at, I guess the first guy that comes to mind is Herschel Walker with Georgia, because that proved to be a national championship acquisition, the way he played as a freshman. How do you think these programs, when they start divvying up their NIL resources, how do you think they evaluate running backs now, as opposed to, say, offensive tackles, quarterbacks, wide receivers?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think generally you've seen that position not being valued quite as much as quarterbacks, certainly as offensive tackles, as edge rushers. Maybe in the same ballpark with cornerbacks in some situations, but I think it says it all that I can't confirm that every single deal has been in the six-figure range, but this is reportedly going to be the first, most likely wherever he goes tomorrow is going to be the first seven-figure deal for a high school running back in terms of annual value. So that tells you a lot right there, because there are multiple seven-figure deals at a lot of those other positions for high school players, and you're not seeing that as much with running backs. So that's a position that's been kind of de-emphasized a little bit in the NFL, obviously, in recent years. It kind of has some ebbs and flows where you still see some guys go in the first round, your Ashton Genty type players, but not always a position where you're going to see a lot of high draft picks. So it's sort of taken on that same valuation in the college game in some ways, but I think at the same time you've got some schools that realize it is a little different sometimes at running back in the college game. Like you said, your Herschel Walkers, your Adrian Petersons, you can get a difference maker at running back in college, and I think it is a little different at that level for whatever reason compared to the NFL. So I think in this case, Tennessee clearly has placed an emphasis on that. Ohio State has too. They see some real value in having a difference maker at running back, and we'll see how that works out. That's one of the things about this that's fascinating is it kind of is a digging when other schools are zagging kind of move, because you don't see a lot of programs pouring that kind of money into high school running backs. I don't think it's a huge leap because he's a really special talent, but it is a different approach from where some schools are kind of pouring their money position wise.
Unpack him talent wise. You and I trust your eye. You're very good down through the years. The way he'll fit, if it happens tomorrow for Tennessee, into Heupel's offense, what do you think we see out of him?
Man, he's as good as I've seen at the high school level, and certainly in this state, which has produced some pretty good running backs. Really, when you go back and look from Jalen Hurd through, Master Teague, a guy that went to Ohio State. I mean, Eric Gray, Ty Chandler. There have been some highly ranked guys that have come out of this state at the running back position, and he's the best of all of them. And it's, I would say it's not particularly close, but Jalen Hurd was pretty special too, and a unique build. But DGG's got a more of a prototypical running back build. He's kind of in that 5'11" to 6 foot range. I think right now he's closer to 220 pounds. I mean, really well built for a guy going into his senior year of high school. The impressive thing you see with him is just the blend of power and speed. You don't see that all the time. You see plenty of guys that are speed guys, but maybe they're 180, 185 going into senior year. This guy to have this kind of size and the balance, the ability to break through arm tackles especially, but he can bounce off some guys and then take it the distance, and that's a tough skill set to master and to have. But he he has that. And so that combination, it's been a long time since Tennessee had a running back that's got this much power and speed combined. Some people have mentioned Jamal Lewis and things like that. I'm not quite ready to say that Jamal Lewis is a top 5 pick in the NFL draft, but he's got that kind of potential for sure. And that's why you're hearing people talk about him being maybe not just the best running back in this class, but maybe the best in the last 5-10 years, because he is kind of that rare blend of all those things. And I think he's got pretty good hands too, to where he can probably be a little bit more of a factor in the passing game than he's shown to this point in high school. They haven't needed him to do a lot of that, but I think he's capable of that. But yeah, he's one of those guys. If he finds a seam, he's got pretty good vision too. If he finds a seam, he's gonna make you pay and take it a long way. And even if he doesn't, he's one of those guys you got to worry about just any missed tackle making a 5-yard run turn into a 20 or 30-yard run.
The thing I like about him too is that in his recruitment, he's handled himself above board. He comes from a really good family. They're solid people, and you're not going to get any shenanigans out of him. You can see that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. In this day and age, you never know, like what people consider a problem these days might be, strictly an NIL negotiation thing. So anybody's capable of being a problem, I guess, from that standpoint. But in terms of just handling himself the right way, and not being a guy that you have to worry about, at least certainly at this point. I've been surprised by some people before who've turned into the off-field problems in college, and you never know about the maturation process. But there's certainly no reason to think that he's going to be that type of guy. And he's a hard worker. I think that's the thing that impresses you the most. The fact that people are talking about after his official visit to Knoxville, how much he enjoyed spending time with Derek Owings, the new strength and conditioning coach, and how much that was a big plus for them in the recruiting process. The fact that he really connected with the strength and conditioning coach, that's a good sign. You want a guy that enjoys putting in the work and enjoys training and focuses on the football, and that's what he is. So I would be certainly surprised if he ran into any off-field issues or anything like that with a guy like David Gabriel George.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're going to walk into this thing. He's going to walk in with his eyes wide open. It's kind of like these guys that Rick Barnes has been targeting. You're going to walk in with your eyes wide open. Hey, I want to get better. I want to get stronger. I want this guy to improve me, grow me as a player, get me to reach down inside myself and find things I didn't even know I had. Any final thoughts, fellas, on the way out for the great Ryan Callahan at 247?
Ryan, you're familiar with Tennessee's recent players as well as recruiting. So I go back and I look at what Dylan Sampson did in Josh Heupel's offense. He certainly didn't come to Tennessee with all the recruiting fanfare, but he was a terrific running back. And when you're an SEC Offensive Player of the Year, man, that's you got to be really good to do that. And I thought he was versatile in that he had some speed. He could run. He could break tackles. He fought for yardage. Those are all qualities that are significant for running backs. If he could do as much as he did, I think that bodes well for how Georgia's might do in this offense.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. And like you said, he was not a guy that came in with that kind of fanfare, and that's where it is maybe an interesting thing to consider what this is going to look like in Tennessee's offense, because we've seen them thrive with guys who were not top 100 prospects coming out of high school. Hendon Hooker was a 5th and 6th year guy by the time he was playing at Tennessee, but that was not a guy that was a really high 4-star or 5-star coming out of high school. Dylan Sampson was not in that category. Jalen Hyatt was a 4-star, but was not at this level. So when you talk, you guys mentioned it a few minutes ago. That's the really interesting thing about what this sets up as for 2027. If Tennessee lands David Gabriel George, you would have 4 5-star prospects, big-time 5-stars, in David Sanders, Faison Brandon, Tristan Keys, and David Gabriel George as kind of the centerpieces at 4 really key positions of Tennessee's offense. And when you go down the all-time commits list on 24/7 Sports, a cool feature that we like to use sometimes to kind of assess where these guys fall in the grand scheme of things over the past 25 to 30 years, because this only goes back to 2000. but that would be 4 of the top 14 players on that list on Tennessee's roster at the same time next year. So what that translates to on the field is going to be a really interesting experiment to kind of watch play out, because we've not seen Tennessee with that much big time talent on its roster at the same time since probably the Philip Fulmer era. So how that plays out, I'm fascinated by it. But you're right. They've had Dylan Sampson and made him the offensive player of the year in the SEC. So what does that mean for a guy with this kind of talent coming out of high school? Part of it may just be how much better he gets from here. It's development's got to continue, but man, if he lives up to his potential, there's no reason to think he can't be a really, really good running back at Tennessee.
How far back
Ryan,
does that list go, Ryan?
It goes back to 2000. So that's kind of the start of the internet era. So we don't have rankings that, from back in the 90s to compare, Peyton Manning and some of those guys. Jamal Lewis obviously was big time. So don't know where those guys would fit in, but there's plenty of guys that do fall into that conversation going back to 2000. So it's an interesting comparison. Evaluations have gotten better over time. So some of those evaluations back then were kind of not as reliable between 2000 and 2009 in particular, but it's an interesting way to kind of compare all-time talent, and this that for Tennessee to have 4 of those types of guys on the roster at the same time on offense, for that matter, is pretty interesting.
Hey, Ryan, give your coordinates out on the way out. You've been tremendous today, as you always are. If folks want to read more and get involved at 247, how do they do so?
Yeah, GoVols247.com. Great time to sign up for the site with preseason camp just around the corner. Obviously, the David Gabriel George announcement coming up tomorrow. We'll be carrying his announcement on the CBS Sports College Football channel on YouTube, so you can watch that one live. We'll have full coverage leading up to it and during and after it, no matter what happens in that one. And obviously, it could be a big day for Tennessee. And another target, Asa Barnes, the running back from West Tennessee, announcing next week. So still plenty of recruiting coverage to keep track of before football camp starts here in just a couple weeks. But yeah, great time to join the site and plenty to talk about right now with all this and more.
Ryan, the Vols are getting both those guys, aren't they?
There's a real possibility. I mean, I don't think the Asa Barnes announcement is contingent upon what happens with DGG tomorrow. So it's shaping up pretty well with that one being a Tennessee-Arkansas battle. And that'd be a big deal because Tennessee went into this year hoping to sign 2 backs in this class, and that looks like a real possibility as of right now.
Thank you, Ryan. Great talking to you.
Same here. Thank you. As
Ryan Callahan joins on the High Noon Hotline, and he's got to run. He's pretty booked up today, and for good reason. This is a huge deal. I mean, we can sit here and try to say, well, whatever, blah 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 blah. This is a huge deal, and we're going to be live tomorrow, taking the announcement, and we're also going to be live with reaction. And we'll have a call-in show, and we'll talk about it. Nex is going to join. Cinco's going to join. Any of our other folks that want to get in tomorrow, that want to join, that are a part of our panel/family of contributors that want to get in, are welcome to get in. But this is a big deal. And, John, just to reiterate that thing about the 4 5-star kids, once again, what was that one more time for the uninitiated? Because that went by quickly.
Yeah, what Ryan said, he said they're 24/7s. That 24/7 composite rankings, they went back as far as 2000 when that started. They had internet. They had Tennessee has 4, could have, assuming they get George, they could have 4 players on their roster next year. 4 of the top 14 players based on 24/7 composites ranking since 2000. And that's that in itself is pretty significant. And it's what we were talking about with Mark, the way they've kind of organized the offense.
Yes.
You go back to the 2022 season. That's when we saw this offense at its best under Josh Heupel. He's tweaked it since then, but at the apex, it was that, and it was the Alabama game. And when Jalen Hyatt seemingly scored every time they threw him the ball. And the offense was unstoppable against a supposed defensive mastermind in Nick Saban. That was kind of the breakout game to me for Josh Heupel, and it remains the offensive standards. If you point to a game and you say, boy, I wish the offense could be like this, that's the game you would show. Things have changed. There have been adjustments to opponents as well as Tennessee. But when you look at the talent assembled, that offense, those players that excelled and put up those kind of amazing numbers and led the nation in scoring, they didn't have this caliber of recruit. And that, it's not all about those recruiting rankings. They have to prove they could do it at the college level. But that just kind of shows you the potential that Tennessee has offensively for the years to come. And I think that's something fans get really excited about.
Hey, Matt, do the expectations, in your alleged opinion, go up when you start hearing those sorts of galaxy of stars numbers that John was just talking about, and also that Ryan was just dropping facts on us? It's been since the former days since Tennessee's had that concentration of highly ranked offense. Now, obviously, the players, it's a different story where guys are, but just coming in, does that get you more jacked up when you start to think about what could be?
Yeah, somewhat. At the end of the day, you have to have the production to match that. But no, when you bring in highly ranked guys, you do have high expectations. Now, having 2022 expectations is probably not ideal because you're almost certainly not going to live up to that because defenses have adjusted to what Heupel does, and the way the games, some of the rule changes have taken a lot of those advantages out. But yeah, when you have highly ranked players, especially at the key positions like we're talking about with Tennessee's offense, like quarterback and tackle and a couple of receivers and a running back at the skill positions, and you do have high expectations, but you should always have high expectations at Tennessee. You have the talent to hopefully live up to those here in the next couple of years. So yeah, it is an exciting time to have those, and it's kind of the four of the top 14 recruits on one side of the ball. Do they pan out? Who knows? But that's pretty impressive for Heupel, who I think a lot of people consider is not a great and certainly not an elite recruiter, but to have this kind of talent that they're bringing in is pretty impressive. You just hope you can fulfill it and they live up to some of the potential.
Hey, Tony, I think when I look at this, I kind of put it in three stages now. When you get a player at this caliber at any position, the first challenge is to get them, and that's not easy.
Right.
Again, you're going against a powerhouse in Ohio State in the recruiting for George. Then the next stage, are they really that good? Do they live up to that? Do they turn their potential into production? That's phase two. And then phase three to me is, can you keep them? Because with the NIL money out there, you can have a really good player. And I, mentioned it earlier, but Alabama had a great player in Caleb Downs, and Alabama was a great program, and Ohio State still took him away. So you got to win in all those three areas the way I see it now to build a championship team.
We're getting people online, Matt, that are missing the point here. They're like, why are you guys pumping this? Listen, it's okay to enjoy yourself. It's okay to enjoy the wins. This thing is a win. You can enjoy yourself. You're allowed to smile. It's okay to feel good about it. It's okay to feel like, hey, this is a win. And here's the thing. I'm never going to stop celebrating the wins. I mean, we celebrate the wins, we cry over the losses. We laugh at ourselves. This is what we do here. We enjoy each other, and we make our community better. You do those things, you're gonna be successful doing this. And this is one of the times to enjoy yourself.
Tony,
you have to enjoy yourself at times like this. Yes.
One of the great minds in college football said something very similarly. Butch Jones, former Tennessee coach, would always say, celebrate the small victories. I know he stole that from somebody. He stole everything he said from somebody else. Maybe Tony Robbins or some self-help guru. But there is something to be said for that, because you're going to have everybody loses sometimes. You might as well appreciate the good times and the good moments. And you don't know, if you just stay in the present and just accept, hey, you won a recruiting battle with one of the greatest programs in the history of college football. You won that battle. You don't know if he'll become the next Bryce Brown at Tennessee or the next Jamal Lewis, or
exactly
go back a little further to Chuck Webb. He was my all-time best Tennessee running back. So you just don't know, but you can't rule out either possibility, just as you can't say, well, you don't know, he may not turn out to be that. But also you can't rule out the possibility that he will turn out to be that.
And the thing we don't know about Tennessee in this thing, which is really interesting, is a question you asked, John, which is how much of their budget did they spend on this guy to get it done? Because it's obvious that this guy is extremely important to them. And this guy, obviously, not only is he important to them, but he's a huge credibility piece, and they're going to overspend for him, I would think.
Yeah,
but that's okay to me. It's just a matter of how much are you going to overspend for him. But here's the thing: you think about it from I think in things two ways. Okay, I think about this from the Danny White perspective. This guy's worth it to me because it buys my coach a grace year here. People don't want to hear that. I'm not saying that the Vols can go out and go 6-6 and everybody's going to say it's hunky dory. But what it does do though is, if you grow your quarterback, and the quarterback's going to be the freshman, when you hear the head coach, who didn't announce who the guy is yesterday, but when you hear him talk about, hey, he's the first in the building, he's the last out, that to me means this guy is serious. And I'm not knocking G-Mac, but he just doesn't have – you're not getting that vibe around him. I didn't hear the head coach say that about him yesterday. He did say that. Now, look, he says we're not going to, you got to win the job in camp. But, Matt, when you hear the head coach say that, and you think about how the true freshman, the word outside of Tennessee's camp the entire offseason has been, this guy's going to be our quarterback. Matt, when you hear that, and you hear the head coach say what he says yesterday about the freshman, you kind of get the sense it's going to be his job in this summer camp to lose, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Faison enters camp as QB1, and it's his job to lose. Yeah, I think that's a fair read on it.
Tony, it seems harder to me than ever to evaluate quarterbacks because so much is asked of quarterbacks, and we've been through this at Tennessee, covering Tennessee and seeing guys that turned out to be better than people thought they would, and guys who turned out not to be as good. So it's hard to say, but getting back to George, I think it's much easier to evaluate running backs. I think when I go back and think about great SEC running backs, most of them were considered really, really good coming out of high school. I mean, even Herschel Walker, he was at a 2A school in Georgia. Everybody thought this guy's going to be it. It was the same way. I was in Jacksonville when Florida recruited Emmitt Smith, and our phone would not stop ringing in the sports department because everybody wanted to know if Emmitt Smith would go to Florida. It turned out he did, and he turned out to be one of college football and one of the NFL's all-time great running backs. I just say if you went back and looked it hit and misses with running backs, compared it to quarterbacks, it wouldn't even be close because there's so much more asked of quarterbacks. And I just think I think there's a really good chance that if Tennessee gets George, there's a much better chance that he'll be a star than a bust.
Oh, it goes without saying. And here's the other thing. A lot of these guys, their strength in numbers in recruiting. Yeah, we know. You just get 4 or 5 stars. One's going to be a bust. Okay, fine. Or not live up to what they're supposed to be. Okay, that's just the numbers, right? But you get enough of those guys, you win enough of these recruiting battles, you get enough 5-star players to show up on one side of the football, you've got that thing kind of figured out. Now, you're probably going to have to go into the portal. You think about 2027, which 2026 isn't here yet. But I'm just playing the tape forward because that's where we are. We're having this conversation about this kid and his impact, okay? And 2027 is a year we're all pointing to because your quarterback's in the second year, Key's in the second year. You got some veteran wide receivers there. But you'll have to, tinker around with your offensive line a little bit. But you're going to have your 5-star in his third year, your tackle. So you have that shored up. And then you go out in your defense and you surgically choose who you need surgically, and you build up that side of the football with your coordinator in his second year. Listen, I don't hear Mark and Colombo get on here and talk about competing for national championships. And Matt, he was doing that earlier. I don't know, Matt, if you caught Mark and Colombo, but he was on here talking about if you get this guy, you can think about next year not only getting to the playoffs, but winning and doing significant damage, Matt. And I think that has to be the mentality around here if they land this kid tomorrow, Matt. Do you agree?
Yeah, that should be the thought process. Yeah, you got to play out this year first and develop some guys, especially at quarterback and your entire defense, really, with a first-year coordinator. But yeah, I think 27's the year that you can point to as the year to make a move and win playoff games. Doesn't throw away this year, but yeah, I think realistically, anybody that thinks you're going to, win, 10 games, compete for any kind of SEC title and be in the playoffs is, that's really lofty expectations. And I'm not sure this team's, set up to do that, but 27 for sure. If things fall into place for you beginning now and not really beginning tomorrow with this.
Yes.
Gee.
I like the way it's setting up. When I look at an offensive-minded coach, and Josh Heupel's, even before he came to Tennessee, had the reputation as a really good offensive coach. That was a highlight of his resume. And you look at, he's averaged 38 points per game in the time he's been here. That's impressive. When I look at a really good offensive coach, and then that coach is able to fill out his system, assemble talent at those real skill positions offensively, that to me gives you an opportunity to excel. You look last year at Miami, Indiana was just a super team, a complete team and good everywhere. But you look at Miami, watch Miami in the playoffs. It had a good quarterback, a good running back, and that Malachi Tony he's one of the scariest players I've seen in the open field. They've got that again this year. Darren Mensah, the transfer from Duke, the running back Mark Fletcher, and of course Tony will be back for his second year. You look at teams like that. You look at Texas, offensive coach and Steve Sarkisian. He goes out and gets Cam Coleman from Auburn as his wide receiver. He got 2,000-yard. Well, one guy almost made 1,000-yard. Hollywood Smothers, and he's got a big-time quarterback in Arch Manning. So now we can look forward like you're doing and seeing what Tennessee could be. It could have the same kind of talent at those positions. And once you do that, then you go out and then you really invest in the portal. That's what it takes. You're filling these key offensive positions. Now you go out and you want to find guys in the portal at the same level. That's what it takes.
I'm excited. And I'm letting myself get excited, and I'm letting myself feel like, and the reason we're doing that show tomorrow night, I want to be understood here. If that kid announces Tennessee, the Vols are back. They're back in the national conversation. Yes, I'm letting myself go there.
Jeez.
I'm not telling whether or not you can go there. I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm not speaking for whether or not anybody else, you don't have to feel that way. You can say, well, it's silly to do that extra show tomorrow night. It's silly to put extra weight on the commitment of this kid. I'm telling you right now, this feels significant to me. This feels different. This feels highly, highly significant. And this feels like a time for us to celebrate, and we're going to do it. It's going to be like a midsummer celebration, the calm before the storm. Let's get excited, and we're going to let ourselves have a little vision into 2027 before 2026 even kicks off. And here's the thing. If you want to laugh about that, laugh about that. If you're a fan of another school and you say, what the hell's wrong with these people? Do that. But for Tennessee Nation, we've been through so much in the macro, in the micro, in the however you want to put it. We've been through a lot. Why not take the good times and celebrate the good times? So tomorrow we're going to have James Clausen on the air. Obviously, Watson Brown's going to be with us. We're going to then do a special show tomorrow evening, 5:30 Eastern time. And when this thing comes down, we're going to take calls, and we're going to do it for a while till we don't do it no mo. But it'll be a Garza Law, extra overtime type of deal. And any of our contributors that feel the need to jump on, including Matt Diskin, who's been kind of lukewarm about this thing, but I think is warming up to the ramifications of this. The ramifications are far-reaching, they're real, and it's not hyperbole. Because John just said it. And when you had earlier on in our first hour, when you heard Ryan Callahan talk about just the sheer numbers that Tennessee will have of 5-star players on that offense, of top 15 players on that offense, you better know this. It's getting real. And somebody going to feel it. Now, here's the thing. On the other side, we're going to open it up for you, and I'm going to ask you if you can feel this. We're also on the other side going to get into Josh Heupel and his needling of Lane Kiffin yesterday. I don't think that was for sport. I think that was for real, and I'm going to tell you why right after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Tona B, inviting you to experience the Collins Insurance difference. And what's that? How about multiple top carriers that you can trust? Like Erie, they underwrite our entire Rainier studio and everything around it. Travelers, Hartford, Hanover, Progressive. We do what's right because we care. In today's technology-driven world, maintaining the human touch, Bruce Springsteen, is one of our main focuses. We deliver the best customer service humanly possible. We give you someone that you can actually call or sit in front of. Imagine that. No call centers here. Experience the Collins Insurance difference. Check them out at collinsinsurantetn.com, and they're Mrs. B approved. Collins Insurance. TB with a few serious questions. You feeling tired? Foggy, you gaining weight, or you just don't feel like yourself anymore? Hormone therapy is finally becoming mainstream, but it's truly something my man, Dr. Tom Rogers, has been doing for over 20 years. Dr. Rogers at Performance Medicine wants you to feel your best, and he treats both males and females. So guys, we can do this as a family. At Performance Medicine, hormone therapy
is personalized to you. If you're dealing with hot flashes or mood swings or low energy, decreased libido, fatigue, muscle loss, stubborn weight gain, it might be time to find out what your body really needs. No shame in this game. You can do something about all the above. Performance Medicine offers customized hormone treatment plans based on comprehensive lab testing with options like pellets, creams, patches, oral medications, and injections. The goal is simple. Help you feel like yourself again. Next level. Make your life better. Take it to the higher plane. Visit performancemedicine.net. Schedule your consultation today. You'll feel your best with Performance Medicine.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got two locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org. And both locations, we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Only 3 homestands remaining for your Knoxville Smokies. Some of the best promotions are still to come. Join us next week for a jam-packed week with all-you-can-eat Wednesday, Knox Vegas Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers. On Friday, let's continue the fight against breast cancer by painting the park pink. Saturday, we honor one of the founding members of the Negro Southern League, the Knoxville Giants. And Sunday Fun Day to end out the week. Get your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Knoxville Smokies.
Nothing makes you realize how much you rely on your air conditioner like a scorching hot day in East Tennessee. You want more than a technician. You want someone you can trust. Schedule Pipe Wrench's $79 AC tune-up now because the heat is here. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 AC tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexial Kristen.
Hey, Tony. Good to see ya. Connexial builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the #1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexial.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexial, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
KB back with you. 865-200-5402. Josh Heupel said the following yesterday at Media Day. And I want to just share with you that I don't believe that this was done. I do not believe that this was done in jest. Now, I'm not saying that he's telling. Well, let me read the quote. I certainly hope our fans haven't cooled off. This is when asked about Lane Kiffin's trip back to Tennessee with LSU. He said, I certainly hope our fans haven't cooled off. So whether it's grocery stores being fully stocked with mustard or sports stores sure they've got reinforcements on golf balls, hopefully Knoxville's ready for his arrival. I don't think he means that in obviously literal terms. I do think he means it, though. I don't think Josh Heupel likes all the attention that Lane Kiffin gets. I think that Lane Kiffin is viewed the way that Bryson DeChambeau is viewed by a lot of golfers. Lane Kiffin is a clicks and hits guy. Lane Kiffin is somebody who wants to be, he loves seeing when his tweets get ratioed and several 100,000 people view them. And I want you to think about the way Josh Heupel goes about his business. Those two guys couldn't be more polar opposites in the way they approach this. And Rory McIlroy stood up the other day and he said, here's a guy that held our tournament hostage on day 2 because he's out there arguing and making a fool of himself after he broke a rule that we all know is a violation of the rules. And I think that's a pretty good comparison for the way that Josh Heupel and many of these coaches view this Kiffin guy. Matt Diskin, before I go to John Adams, what say you on that? I don't think Josh Heupel likes Lane Kiffin. I don't think two guys could be more opposite than those two guys. One guy wants to coach football, and the other guy, I don't know what he wants to do.
Yeah, they both take really different approaches, really different personalities, get fairly similar results. But yeah, Kiffin seems to always want to be about himself and all the publicity he can get, whether it's good or bad, it seems. And Heupel is just kind of wants to just go under the radar and just be a guy, just be a guy. And I wish Heupel was a little bit more open with the media and outspoken, because I think he does have a pretty good personality. He just doesn't let it show as much as he probably should. But we all know what Kiffin is and how he's not changed, and how Kiffin's just really all about himself at the end of the day. Both are
John Adams. Oh, they both do a nice job. John, your thoughts?
Yeah, and they're both very offensive-minded coaches, very good at that. I think Josh Heupel, he makes absolutely no effort at media gatherings. Lane Kiffin is not always that great at press conference type settings either. He's better on social media and maybe one-on-one. He'll say things. It can work either way. But if Josh Heupel, if it bothers that Lane Kiffin gets so much attention, then he could put himself out there too. If you don't, if you're complaining about that, then I don't know that he is, but if that bothers him, he could get attention too. So Lane Kiffin, he really puts himself out there, and he puts a target on his back. And not all guys want to do that. A lot of guys are afraid to do that. They don't want to bring more heat on themselves. And Lane Kiffin declared already this year, he said he'll win a national championship at LSU. He's already got exorbitant expectations there, and he's willing to say that. Keep in mind that Lane Kiffin's coaching role model was Steve Spurrier. And back in the day when Steve Spurrier got that Florida dynasty going, I think a lot of coaches resented him. There was no social media, but Steve Spurrier would say things in press conference that nobody else would. Georgia coach Ray Goff wanted to strangle him. He got up there in a post-game press conference after he'd beaten Georgia by about 30 points and said, well, I don't know what happens to, Georgia recruits all these high school All-Americans. I don't know what happens to them when they get here. Wow, what a slam, what a needle. And he did that repeatedly in a lot of places, and coaches didn't like him. But you can look at it another way and say Spurrier brought more pressure on himself, and most coaches don't want to do that. They'd rather sit back and not get out on a limb, and also still get the compliments and the praise for being a good coach. But Steve Spurrier went out there and was very outspoken, and he put pressure on himself, and he was comfortable doing that. Lane Kiffin's comfortable doing that. So it can work, as Matt said, it can work either way.
865-200-5402. Laura tells me lines are wide open, which means we have 0 phone calls. If you want to get in the mix with us, again, 865-200-5402. And we'd love to hear from you. I would love to get your thoughts on what DGG, since this is DGG week, would mean tomorrow in your eyes.
Do you think everybody knows what DGG stands for?
The man that Matt Dixon calls the Canadian wildfire, DGG.
He's already Tony's favorite Tennessee running back of all time, John.
He said, I like the Canadian wildfire moniker.
Yesterday, Matt came up with that on was that Friday, Matt, when I was in the bad air quality day, or Thursday?
Yeah. Whatever day you were wearing the mask, which at least
I wore
you
a
don't
mask,
have to wear that
John.
indoors anymore.
Hey, John, it was the air quality here in the 500s, which was hazardous for everybody.
Tony, I noticed the last 2 nights, and I wasn't even thinking about it, but I was
wildfire.
Yeah, I was sitting out there in the backyard, and I came in, and I just felt like, man, I don't think I'm getting enough air. My eyes were starting to kind of tear up. I thought maybe I'm allergic to something. No, I think it was the Canadian wildfires. It was DGG.
And DGG is blowing in. And David Gabriel Georges is his name, which I love. And his folks are French speaking, which is very next level. When we get him on, I can't wait to talk hockey with him. I'm going to ask him what kind of hockey kid he is growing up, if he has a favorite team. Let's go to our phones, though, at 865-200-5402. I just want to indiscriminately scream. Let's go to here's the thing. I would have thought today people be fired up, folks, and prepared, but I got 2 calls from different fan bases, and if this is what you all want to do, this is what you want to do. We got a Florida fan and we got a Hoosierville fan in here. So, Matt, Brian Hartman's not here today. Do you want to go to the Florida fan or Hoosierville fan first, or shall we flip on it?
Whichever one's been on hold the longest.
All right, they both called at the same time, so let's go by seniority. Florida's about 3 times the age as Hoosierville Ryan, so let's get Florida. Plus, his act is about that old too. Florida, welcome in. How you doing, buddy?
My brother, what's going on? Hey.
Florida, are you fired up, focused, and prepared for David Gabriel Georges Day from coast to coast tomorrow?
No, not at all, Coach. You know what? Georgia's going to be a little bit. They ain't shown me nothing in the past couple of years, Georgia. But here's the thing, bro. Everybody think Lane Kiffin going to be just because, because he's down in LSU and he in DBU and he's got the money to recruit. Listen, bro. All of his things, every year he's been there, he's had a losing season. Everywhere he's been, he had a losing season. So guess what? LSU ain't all what it's cracked up to be no more, man. And y'all giving this dude too much props. He ain't on the damn level as Spurrier. And y'all know damn well he ain't. But y'all gonna give him that little love. Go ahead and give him the love.
Not me.
No.
That's
Florida.
John.
No,
that's
Florida.
John, not me. That's John, not me. That's John, not me. That's Sean Adams, not me.
Florida.
He is doomed to fail. He's doomed to fail.
I've never said Lane Kiffin is good as Steve Spurrier. Of course he isn't. But I said that Lane Kiffin considered Steve Spurrier, that's his role model, and he has some of the same characteristics. No, he hasn't done it. He did a great job at Ole Miss, but he lost games he shouldn't have. However, he's never been in a place with LSU's resources. Not even close.
Hey, but Mr. John, hold on. Let me get something at you. Hell, Brian Kelly hadn't been in a place like that either. And look what happened.
Oh!
You can't say that. You got to go by your merits, bro. His merits are good in other places. But his first couple of seasons, he failed. Brian Kelly had the same athletes as Kiffin does. He's had probably better. But these kids are a different breed of kids than we used to seeing back in the 90s and the early 2000s, bro. It's a different breed of kids, bro.
Well, Brian Kelly, I'm glad you brought that up because Brian Kelly didn't understand that. And I think Lane Kiffin does understand it. And I think he will motivate better than Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly was too detached. You know, the best thing about Steve Spurrier, one of the many great qualities he had, was he instilled so much confidence in his players. When he was at Florida, and Florida went into a game, they went in there thinking, man, Steve Spurrier's going to have something awesome planned for this opponent. He's going to figure out a way. We're going to excel. They had so much confidence, so much belief in him. I think Lane Kiffin will inspire that kind of belief with his players at LSU.
Hey, Mr. John, boy, I can't help but disagree with you.
Well, that's fine.
Spurrier had a great offensive playbook, man. And he had the talent. He had the talent to back it up, man. Lane has what has he done with his so-called playbook? He loses games like you said that he shouldn't lose with his playbook. Steve Spurrier buried people by hundreds of 30, 40 points and felt good about it, bro.
Oh, I know.
He ain't nowhere near that.
I know, but Steve Spurrier was in a place, Florida, that's so much better fortified to build a championship program than Lane Kiffin was at LSU, and Lane Kiffin was at Ole Miss.
Hey, give Lane Kiffin credit, Florida. Come on. Like John's saying, the guy made the playoffs at a place that never won a division in the league. Come on now, let's get real, man. A 12-team playoff.
He did. But y'all giving him too much credit, bro. He had a lot of talent down there too, bro.
Well,
man.
But Florida, he brought that talent in. He brought a level of talent that Ole Miss hadn't seen. His 2024 roster was probably second only to Ohio State's. It was on par with Texas's. And he beat Georgia and Kirby Smart to death head-to-head. He's not as good as Steve Spurrier. He hadn't done anywhere near what Steve Spurrier did. But I'm just saying he's really good, and he's been really good wherever he's been. And I think he has a chance to achieve more than he ever has when he's at LSU.
John, he's good at trash talking.
Yeah.
I know, but you can't deny what he did at Ole Miss. You look at Ole Miss's history. Ole Miss had gone more than 50 years without.
It's been Archie Manning. That's exactly right, John.
It had gone more than 50 years without winning at that level. It was a mediocre program on its best day for most of that time. Mm-hmm. And Lane Kiffin turned it in to a really good program, one that could make the playoff, one that was capable of competing for championships. I know he's not as good as Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier is probably one of the top 5 coaches in college football history.
All right, let's go around the room. You boys are talking in circles. Let's go around the room here. Florida, I want the honest truth out of you. You ready? And Matt, you better get ready, Matt. And John. Lane Kiffin declared he's going to win a national championship at LSU. Like John just said, he's going to put pressure on himself. And Kiffin's in the discussion here because Josh Heupel doesn't like him. There's no doubt about it. Josh Heupel, he's kidding about what he said. He's not kidding. He wants that environment hype when LSU comes to town. Florida does buying, selling, or trading. Lane Kiffin wins a national championship at LSU.
This year, you mean? This year?
No, I'm talking about in his tenure.
Man, with the way these teams coming up, man, I would say no. All these teams are coming up, bro, no.
All right, knows your vote. Sit tight. Knows your vote. Matt Dixon, because I got one other question for you. Matt Dixon, what do you say about Kiffin? Yes or no on a natty at LSU?
I'll say no.
All right. John, what do you say?
Despite what I've said about Kiffin and as complimentary I've been, I'll say no, because it seems like something, as good of a coach as he is and as much talent as he's acquired, something always seems to go wrong. Something will go wrong there. That's why I say no.
Yep. Maybe the year, John, that they get close, he starts getting NFL interest. You know what I mean? Or like Texas interest. Lane always implodes himself if he gets too close. It's a weird psychology. Him leaving Tennessee for that morbid USC thing, who was about to get hammered by the NCAA and he knew it, was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Who does that, John? Really, who does that?
Well, and also, yeah, if you'd have taken the job at face value with Southern Cal at the top of its game,
Sure, yeah.
you make that move. Of course you do. But he went into a difficult situation there where he didn't have a chance for success. I go back though to that Ole Miss team last year. Lane Kiffin built that team, and he turned Trinidad Chambliss, helped turn him into one of the best quarterbacks and one of the most exciting players in the country.
Yes.
And Lane Kiffin traded that for a future possibility. Let's face it, if you go back and look,
does that?
Ole Miss went head-to-head with Miami and almost won that game. And Miami went head-to-head with Indiana and almost won that game. That team, it wasn't out of the question that Ole Miss could have beaten Indiana. I don't think it would have, but it wasn't a sure thing. And Lane Kiffin said, nah, this team's not good enough. I'll go get this LSU job. That's where I can win a bunch of championships. Hey,
Florida, before you go, because you've had a great call. John's makes a great point. Matt, are you surprised that John said no about Kiffin and LSU winning a national championship? Matt, I want your honest opinion, because I'm surprised.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't shock me if Kiffin did it, because again, I thought Brian Kelly was going to win a national title at LSU as well.
Yeah.
He just didn't adapt to this era, and I'm not sure why he took that job when he was set up in Notre Dame. But I mean, it wouldn't shock me if Kiffin does, because he's the great coach, and you can obviously get great talent down there. But like John said, Kiffin always seems to find a way to make it a little bit harder than it should be for him, and they seem to stumble at some point along the way.
And the other thing is LSU loves drama. Kiffin loves drama and LSU loves drama. That's a lot of drama. I like drama, Okay,
Tony,
so Florida.
Hold on, Tony B.
Go ahead.
Say one more thing, bro. So LSU
Unfortunately.
was coming up here with y'all, right?
Yes.
LSU was coming up here to play y'all, right?
Yes.
And I think we go to LSU. Now, I got us going 9-3. That's my thing with Florida. We're going 9-3 this year. But do you think?
Hey, Florida, pull over, and I'll get somebody to pick you up on the side of the road. Give me your coordinates, Florida.
Hey, man.
I wish you had Find My iPhone. If you had Find My iPhone right now, Florida, I'd intervene, because you need to eat the roads.
Man, I'm just telling you, man. What if y'all beat them and then we turn around and beat them, bro? So
9-3. You have Florida going. Hey, Florida, here's your final question, and a great call by you. Here's your final question. Where will the media pick the Florida Gators on Friday in 2 days?
We'll probably be at number 15.
No,
Florida, great call by you. Thank you. You're out of here. Great call. John?
Yeah, Florida will be probably around 9 or 10.
Matt?
Yeah, somewhere in that 8 to 10 range. Is it in Tampa? Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
So they'll be a spot or two higher than they should, because there'll be more Florida media down there than typical.
That's a
great point, Matt.
Maybe eight.
Some people will put Florida ahead of Tennessee down there in that vote.
Sure. And Matt's very astute, I would say, John. That's something I wouldn't have thought of, that would kind of not skew the vote like Watson Brown likes to say, but skew the vote.
Okay, you go 9-3. Here's your schedule. You see where you get 9 wins playing.
Go ahead.
At Auburn.
Loss.
Versus Ole Miss in Gainesville.
Loss.
At Missouri.
Loss.
Versus South Carolina. You can win that.
Win.
At Texas, forget about it.
Loss.
Georgia in Atlanta, forget about
Loss.
it. Yeah, where do you
keep going? Keep going. I'll see how many wins I have.
Oklahoma in Gainesville.
To win.
I don't know about that. At Kentucky.
They always lose that game. Loss.
I mean, it's just to me a 6-6 team.
Maybe.
Florida just went 4-8. I'm not knocking John Sumrall. He might be a really good coach. I would bet money he's better than Billy Napier. But 9-3. I really like Florida as a caller. He's one of my favorite callers.
I love him. He's great. Let's go back to Hoosier Vol Ryan. 2 great callers here, in fact.
Back to back.
2 back-to-back wonderful callers. Florida Gator win total on the year, John, what would you say it is? By Vegas.
I'd say about 6. It's probably over and under. Might be, I don't know. It could be 7.
Matt, what do you say? What's the number? Because I'm surprised by this.
Like 6.5.
7.5.
Yeah, I would.
That's crazy. I would take the under.
I
asking a lot.
like that.
That's
bet.
asking a lot.
I like that bet.
I would bet 7 all day long. I would be willing to bet the Rainier studio on it and everything in it.
I'd bet the Rainier studio on it and everything in that studio and in your entire house.
To the phones we go. Hoosier Vol Ryan. Always good to hear from you, brother. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? Before we get going on DGG, John, did I hear you right? It's the cocktail game in Atlanta, not in Gainesville or
yeah, they're working on the stadium. Yeah, they're working on the stadium.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah,
well, they got no chance. Kirby Smart don't lose in Atlanta unless Nick Saban's involved. So that's definitely an L. But
yeah, that's
this DGG guys, man, this is a big deal. Who's saying it's not a big deal, Tony? I'm confused.
Well, compared, nobody's making it as a big deal as Tony is.
Oh, okay.
But that doesn't mean it's not somewhat of a big deal. It's just not Tony big. You know how that goes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I will say DGG is as advertised. Is it Tristan Keys, the young man from Mississippi, coming in?
Yes.
That's as advertised.
Did they call him TK?
TK.
I've seen it both. That's why I was curious.
Yeah.
Staley continues on his upward trajectory.
Yes.
Matthews, let's say, finally has the exploding year.
Yes.
That we're always rooting for. It all hinges on that quarterback, Tone. David Sanders is another year older. Next year, we got to have the quarterback, though. I definitely agree with you. We land him, get excited, because that is a legit, but we need to see the quarterback. But let's say the quarterback's not there. Couldn't you snag a quarterback in the portal and say, look at all that embarrassment of...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. See, that. And
that's what this guy does. That's right, John. Say it.
Well, that's what you should be doing right now. You're thinking maybe Faison Brandon is the next big thing, and he may be. We don't know. But if he isn't, you need to already have your ducks in a row and think, what quarterback will I go get? Just like Miami went and got Duke's quarterback. Great get for the Hurricanes to get Darian Mensah. That's what Tennessee can do. And then you've got something to sell the quarterback. You don't just have to give him a big check. You can say, look at these wide receivers. Look at your running back. Look at the guy that's going to be protecting your blind side. Because I think Sanders could end up being an All-American.
You're already talking to agents. It's just what you do, man.
Sure.
Yep.
In hindsight, and it doesn't matter, would y'all have taken that Old Dominion player if we could go back in time and just make something happen? You can't realistically take anyone in the NCAA. Would you all have taken the Old Dominion quarterback in hindsight if you were Heupel?
The kid that went to Wisconsin. It's going to be really interesting to see what kind of year he has there.
He rushed for like 200-something yards against, I think, a pretty decent
the first game of Indiana's schedule.
Yeah,
he ran a 70-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and so, but no, because of the level of play, I would, though, and Tony doesn't agree with this, but I would have taken Bo Prabula.
Interesting.
Matt,
Isn't
you
he
have
the same
Matt,
player?
Matt, you have a chance. Would you have taken the ODU quarterback, knowing what we know now, or just roll the dice with the kid?
I'd probably roll the dice with Faison.
Well, you
Tony,
could have.
you don't- oh,
I'm sorry, but
go ahead, Jim.
yeah, well, you could have taken the ODU guy if you could have and got him, and if he's not that good and he can't beat out the, it's not like you have to start him if the freshman's better. You play him.
Well, here's the other thing. That's a good point. The other thing is, in a weird way, Joey Aguilar losing his case might be the best thing that ever happened to you in 2027. Because if this quarterback shows a pulse and is able to grow, I'm not kidding.
Boom.
If this quarterback this year can play a little bit, our fans will be pumped. We'll be adding 2 extra hours on this show. Okay? We'll have the high noon hotline followed by God knows what. Because I'm telling you, we haven't felt this way. If this kid can play a little bit, we haven't felt this way as a fan base heading into a season since. Anybody want to fill in the blank? Since, John? When would be the last time Tennessee's fan base felt the way they're going to feel if this guy shows he can play? Because what they say about him is he's first in and he's last out. He's extremely serious. And I'm talking about Faison Brandon.
Baby.
And Kiffin said it out loud yesterday. I mean, Kiffin. And Heupel said it out loud yesterday. He said it out loud, which ordinarily, John, he doesn't say things like that. That's a little tell right there from him.
I think it is, and we still don't know. I still want to see what a guy does in the game. If you go back and you read the quotes that were said about Nico when he came as a freshman, and then before he became the starter as a redshirt freshman, he had everything you wanted in a quarterback. Nothing but praise for him. Didn't work out. He wasn't as good as people hoped. So yeah, but I think that's significant. But yeah, you go back to, it takes you back to the 90s, to the mid 90s.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. But let's not forget, I think people are optimistic about Jim Knowles as defense coordinator. And I think the talent level is better than last year. But let's just remember how bad that last defense was. And you're going to be better, but I don't know if you're going to be in the realm with the better defense.
No, you won't. But if you're in the top
John,
40,
how much of that was scheme last year? No offense to Tim Banks, he was really bad. He was really bad in games that mattered when he had that great 2024 defense.
Yeah,
but he had against Georgia in 2024.
I know, but he did have some really good games back then when he had that kind of talent.
He blows.
So, but this is
another. By the way, I'm sorry, John. Go ahead. You were going to say. My bad. I'm being Italian here.
No, as you say, I'm talking in circles. So go ahead.
John's circular appearance today, presented by somebody who circles the square or squares the circle on a daily basis, and that's Jennifer Morris. Would that be a great way to describe her, John? Because she gets it done.
She's what I call the real deal or the total package, or maybe say she's special.
Next move, SmokyMountains.com. She of Keller Williams. She's available at 865-257-7897. That's some old school radio to give her Addie out. Who's your raw Ryan, or not her Addie, her phone number. Who's your raw Ryan? Anything else for us today? I'm so fired up for this DGG guy. I don't know an address from a phone number. That's how pumped I am.
Did you just give out her cell phone number?
I did.
I hope not. Oh,
come on, Tony.
Wow.
My God.
She wants me to give it out. It's up on the screen. Look on the screen, Shepard. Yes.
Okay.
Tone out the door. I guess I'm going to throw a bone to Dave and probably some of the other YouTube guys, because it does have to be said. Let's assume Faison is the real deal. Let's assume Tristan Keys is a real number one caliber to go with a great slot and a potential other nice possession guy like Mike.
Yep.
Heupel still has to get better, and I love Josh Heupel. He's
all these guys have to get better.
I'm the hooch ball.
No, you're
He's
right.
nowhere near Signetti. He's got to get better.
Nobody's anywhere near Signetti.
I know,
Ryan, come on, Ryan.
Better,
that's like
he's
Ryan.
Better.
Ryan, that's like taking a. Come on now. Come on now,
I'm
man.
not saying that to be negative. He needs to do a little bit better in 2-minute situations, end of game situations.
Well, no,
and he needs to do a little bit better on the penalties. That's all I'm saying.
This damn Signetti guy. Of course, it would help Heupel if he had the answers to the test before they took it, though.
Oh, for God's sake.
Come on, Tony.
Huh?
No.
It would help Heupel.
Let that
go. Hey, Matt, you think that would help Heupel? Matt, you think that would help Heupel if he had his staff paying for information? Or would we still jump off sides, Matt, even if we had the answers?
Well, I mean, we'd still jump off sides and commit some penalties, but that would certainly be a help.
I mean, when do we quit absolutely performing on this free? I can't wait for Indiana to go 7-5 this year. Thank you, Ryan. Good talking to you.
Tony, he's
it's so annoying. Thank you. Good talking to you. Hey, John, what'd you think of the Stein guy essentially saying he's got all this grandiose stuff to say about Kentucky under his tenure? And somebody asked him a great question, which is, well, there was a guy there before you and a guy there before you and a guy there before you and none of those other guys did this. How are you going to do it? And John, what'd you think of his answer? Because I'm here, he said.
I loved it. Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of, and it may not be real, but that's the kind of confidence you need to show, particularly this era. If you're investing NIL money in Kentucky football, that's what you want to hear. You want to see, and I thought he made a great presentation. Doesn't mean he'll be a great coach. We don't know that. I flashed back 30 years when Bill Curry was there. And the first time he played against Tennessee, Tennessee kicked Tennessee all over the field there in Lexington. And after the game, Bill Curry was just going on and talking about, well, you know, when people are talking one day about my favorite teams here at Kentucky, I'm going to say it was this one, because this laid the groundwork for all the championships to come. I turned to Dan Flesser, my colleague at the time, and said, did he just talk about winning championships at Kentucky? And we had a good laugh over that. And as it turned out, Bill Curry not only did he not win championships, he never had a winning season in 7 years there. However, that's what a fan base wants to hear. And sometimes those guys that talk a great game can actually coach it. Kirk Signetti, he went to the Indiana. He wasn't lacking in confidence when he went to Indiana. And when you ask him that line, when he was asked about why should people want to play for him, and he said, Google me, I win. That's what.
Hey, Matt, well, you're right. No, you're right. And I'm going to ask both of you guys. Are you guys both surprised? Matt, you first, and then we'll go to our friend in Chattanooga, Blake. Are you surprised, Matt, that Heupel went there yesterday on that question about Kiffin and LSU?
Yeah, I am. I mean, it was, I don't know what question was asked and like the context of it, but yeah, it's a little surprising that Heupel went that far with it, but it's kind of fun to do. I wish to do that a little bit more often. Not necessarily, poking at another coach or program, but just opening up and saying things your fan base will resonate with. That I wish to do stuff like that more often.
But he didn't do it in the big room when he's there.
No, he didn't.
It's his turn on the lectern, and he was there. I don't know exactly.
Right,
I hadn't talked to Adam. I don't know, what the context was or what the environment was when he made that comment. He meets a lot of the coaches, Tennessee coaches, do meet with the local media who are covering that event beforehand. Adam Sparks, our beat guy, did met with Josh Heupel. So, and then there are all these breakout rooms, and they also go down Radio Row, and they talk to all these. So it's all these different stages. But the one that the SEC network shows in its totality is when the coach is up there at the lectern and it's his time in the big room with the print media.
It's pretty next level. We get ready to go back to our phones at 865-200-5402. We'll get as many people in here as humanly possible. I'll tell you what let's do. Let's get a brief timeout in, and then Blake in Chattanooga, the beautiful scenic city that gave me my lovely bride, will lead things off. As we continue on the other side, she and John Adams are in studio. You're there, 865-200-5402. We continue with more on this Tuesday. It's a DGG, Canadian Smoke Tuesday after
wildfire.
this. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Like our 2026 football Vol, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times, 80 proof of vodka, delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka. T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka. Distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee. Achillio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's national award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a plate covered, come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got 2 locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org, and both locations we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you, not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free.
Personally, I'm partial black cherry and pineapple.
14 flavors.
That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week.
In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon vodka iced tea in 6 refreshing flavors,
including peach and lemon, green tea, and half and half.
Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon tequila seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, blood orange. High Noon real vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out.
Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly.
And speaking of High Noon, a High Noon Overdrive overtime coming your way. And I want to shout out the High Noon Spirits Company as we welcome you back. Tony Basilio, John Adams, alongside Matt Diskin in the house. We are breaking it down scientifically and moving right to left across your device. Let's go ahead and we'll get Blake in Chattanooga started, and we'll no doubt finish up with him as part of our High Noon Overtime. And if you want to get in, 865-200-5402. Hello and welcome into our to Blake. You're in Chattanooga. Welcome in.
How's it going, Tony?
Good, brother. Good to hear your voice.
Good to hear you as well. Dude, I'm actually starting to get excited about DGG. I talked to my source that I told you about, And I'm a little more optimistic now, to say the very least there. He said about a month ago it was an Ohio State lock, and it would take a lot to change that. And then he went on his visit the next week, and I guess things have changed, and now my guy is hearing Tennessee. So we'll see what happens. Anything can change between now and tomorrow, but I'm a little more optimistic today.
Hey, John, your level of significance to that, he's got a source over there close to the Baylor school. I'll tell you what, let's do this. I'll get John's thoughts on that. We'll unpack that here momentarily. I want to remind the living listener that here on Fan Run Radio, you will bow thy head when you say thy name, because the playbook, William Pattison, on the way next, followed by Russell and the gang, including the great Bear Italia and also the incomparable Bob Baskerville. They will no doubt have more on this huge pending news, because DGG fever is spreading like a Canadian wildfire. In the meantime, we love you. We appreciate you. Go out and have a beautiful day. Peace.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
It's high.
All right, John.
Somewhere, sun's up.
And it's time for another high noon overtime.
The place where we kick back, pop a top, and really get to the bottom of it.
Presented by High Noon Hard Seltzer.
Made with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free.
Live like the sun is always out.
And now, it's time for High Noon Overtime.
And the sun feels like it's always out. Sun's out right now. John, here on our High Noon Overtime, presented by High Noon Hard Seltzer. You heard young Blake there in Chattanooga say that a month ago he didn't want to tell us, but there was a 0% chance, according to somebody in Chattanooga very close to this whole thing. And now this person feels like it's coming down for Tennessee. How significant is that to you, John, if at all? If I tell you that Blake has been an honorable person in the time we've known him.
I'm sure he has been honorable. Yeah, you start getting sources. I mean, I think I've heard that a lot of times from people. So this is going to happen, that's going to happen. They're very optimistic about it. You know, it sometimes pans out. But the fact that so many different people are saying that, if you just took one isolated case and said, well, I heard from a friend of mine whose cousin used to work with a guy who knows that family, and he says he thinks he's coming to Tennessee. If you just had one of those, you'd say, nah, who knows? But when everybody's saying that, yeah. And I kind of think with Ohio State has been in the game such a long time with him. He was a real priority for this recruiting class for Ohio State. And the Buckeyes know what they're doing in recruiting. The fact that they couldn't lock him down sooner, that to me favors Tennessee. I think if he were going to Ohio State, this thing would already been over.
Ohio State doesn't lose many of these, Blake. They're not used to it, Blake. They're not used to losing these, Blake.
Well, they don't
They're
lose.
not. They're acting like it on social media too. They're starting to make the excuses early, I think.
Yeah, well, you'll probably hear from some of them. You'll be reading on Columbus websites that, well, he's really overrated, things of that nature. And Tennessee fans would do the same thing.
But you know what, Matt? We had Columbus last week saying that a couple people that cover it up there that are more fans type were telling Columbus that Tennessee did some nefarious things to wrangle this kid, Matt. That's another thing that you hear, which makes this thing feel like an old school recruiting battle, Matt. Ohio State's accusing Tennessee of turning the screws there, doing some outside the lines thing.
Wild West era where literally everything's legal.
Yes.
Yeah, does feels like an old school recruiting battle. But I mean, Tennessee beat Ohio State for David Sanders. It's obviously not as high profile as this, but Ohio State doesn't lose many of these. But you have to win battles like this to have it translate on the field. And Tennessee's clearly doing that.
Did Ohio State recruit Keys at wide receiver? Do you know?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Blake, do you?
I'm sure they had talked to him. I don't know for sure, though. Wasn't he an LSU guy?
Yeah, he was an LSU guy. Yep. Yeah, that was our chief competition.
So,
yeah.
Tony, if he does commit to Tennessee,
right?
Should people the way we're talking about this is he commits to Tennessee, it's over. But in recruiting, it never seems to be over anymore. I mean, will Ohio State said, okay, lost that one, let's move on? Or will they continue to recruit him? Will Texas jump in? May Texas wait to the 11th hour and say, hey, I think we could use that guy?
Did they sign a deal tomorrow with him? I don't know how that works.
Well, people sign deals and then they renege.
And they jump out all the time.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, the what's his face? The Mensa kid had like a 3-year contract with Duke and just said, "See you later."
Yeah. Those contracts don't hold up well, do they?
Blake, what's your level of pump? And will you be calling in from the Scenic City tomorrow following that commitment? And will you be over the moon tomorrow at roughly 5:45 Eastern time?
I don't typically get too excited about high school recruits unless it's a kid that I know personally. But this one I am pretty excited about just because the talent that I think is there of what I've seen so far, just like because I've got the chance to see him in person a few times in Chattanooga. And he's really good. He's really good. He seems like a good kid. Everything that I've heard, my source knows him personally. He seems like a really good kid. He's not going to really be one of those guys getting into trouble. It seems like a no bullshit kind of guy. It seems like head on straight, comes from a good family. I'm excited about him.
I've got a question for you, Blake. If you could have George, or you could be
George's.
I drop the S sometimes. It's a French thing. So if you could have him, or you knew you could get the number one running back in the portal in January of 27, which one would you take?
That's tough. I normally am a guy that leans more towards the portal, but I like this Georgia kid a lot. I think he's got a pretty high ceiling. I'd take my chances with him.
Matt Dixon, how do you answer that?
It'd be about the same amount of money, if not more, for the number one portal guy too.
Oh yeah, it's a great question. Now they're going to go 7 figures on this guy. Running backs don't make a kind of money anywhere, but Ohio State, either Ohio State or Tennessee, whoever gets him is going to pay that kid that much money. It's just he's going to be a market-setting kid. Matt, what would you say to that, Matt? John's question there, he just asked.
I still like taking the high-end high school kids at the 5-star types because you most likely if they pan out, you're going to retain them and get them for 3 years. So I still enjoy that part of the college game, even though it's portal heavy. But most of the time, I would lean portal. But when you have the high-end guys like this, I think you take your chances.
I think I would be running back would be the only position that I would go with the high school kid. And I still probably would favor the transfer portal player. I just think you've got a proven commodity. I've seen too many can't miss guys miss.
No, it's true. It's true. It's the other thing though is that this one I would ride with this kid simply because one, the pop, And 2 yesterday, I declared him my favorite running back of all time when we were doing our favorite running backs.
Golly, that's so unlike you to go out that far.
Anything else for us in beautiful Chattanooga before we move along here, my friend?
Yeah, I will be on the road tomorrow. I'm heading to the beach, so I will call in. I should still be on the road during the decision, so if y'all are on here afterwards, I'll probably call in, especially if we get them. I know everybody will be excited.
It's unbelievable. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, Special Garza Law. 5th quarter fan reaction tomorrow. A DGG edition, DGG, the Canadian Wildfire finally touches down. The Eagle will have landed.
Tony, who is the most, since you've been doing your show, which Tennessee recruit have you touted the most and amplified most in your pre-signing build-up?
I don't know. It's been so long since we've done that. We used to have a thing when I first started on the air. We had a thing called a Mercer alert, John. Whenever somebody would say Ron Mercer's name,
I remember him.
We had a buzzer that would go, "Arr!" I don't know if since the Mercer alert, and people would just call in and say Mercer to me just to hear, "Arr!" I don't know if we've Matt, we don't get really hype about recruits anymore, don't we? Or do we? We haven't really been given into this. We haven't.
Nico, guaranteed up there.
Go!
You tend to go overboard often with the high end recruits.
This isn't wearing well, John.
Jalen Hurd was probably pretty high up there.
I love Jalen Hurd. I named him one of my favorites yesterday.
Yeah.
I think he got a raw deal from our fan base. I think Butch Jones just mishandled him. That's why Butch Jones has zero business being a head coach at one of these jobs. The way they handled Hurd.
He had Bruce Jones. Butch Jones had Jalen Hurd and Alvin Kamara in his backfield.
And John Kelly, and ruined it. He had all three of those guys. Hello. Let's go back to our phones.
I would have liked to have seen Hurd.
And Josh Dobbs, who's still in the NFL.
Yeah.
And Dobbsy.
I would have liked to have seen Hurd at wide receiver.
Well, they ruined that chance because they treated him like a pariah when he got concussed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, never mind. Back to our phones we go. Let's get Rusty in here. Who's up next? Rusty, hello, and welcome in. You're on the air.
Thanks, brother. Hey, I have a question that I want to pose to kind of a little game to play with the whole panel that I want everybody to chime in on. But I want to start out before I ask it in preface. I am not like trying to downplay how big a deal this is. I really hope we get David Gabriel George. I want the kid on campus. I think it's a big deal. So I'm not trying to downplay it, but I want to ask the panel this and to rank these 1 through 4. The last 3 elite recruits we got, and then the possibility of him being the 4th elite recruit. Ranking from 1 being the most important to 4 being the 4th most important. If all these guys that were elite recruits become elite college players, which is a bigger deal? Faison Brandon, David Sanders, TK Keys, or David Gabriel George? If they all end up elite at their position, ranking from 1 to 4, who's the most important, the least important?
Quarterback's 1.
Quarterback's always
there. We go.
What's 2, John?
You know, maybe I'm too old school, but gosh, I would still like to see an elite running back in Josh Heupel's offense, because I've seen what he's done with running backs throughout his career. I mean, he had pedestrian guys at Missouri who put up big numbers, had huge games, big seasons. So I would still, and maybe, you know, maybe that's too old school, but I still like that elite running back.
Matt, where are you going? Offensive tackle or running back next?
It's really close. I probably would lean, if they, like you were talking high end, I think you can do more with the running back than tackle. I mean, obviously Faison and quarterback's one, but 2 and 3 between running back and tackle are really close. I think you could argue either way. I'd probably lean running back, just because of the high end potential you could get there.
Yeah, I think he's 2, Rusty. I agree with that.
Can I give because I wrote Faison's 1. My 2 is the wide receiver position. Jeremiah Smith make a football team way more dangerous. Chris Brazzles make football teams way more dangerous on offense. Jalen Hyatt's make teams way more dangerous on offense. When you can absolutely scare the crap out of the safeties and the coach of the other team because you got a guy that can take the lid off, it makes you so much better. I think Keys is 2, but anyway, let's continue, please.
Well, no, it's a great first world argument.
It is, and let's have it all day long.
It's fun.
Let's have it for the next 20 years. We're arguing over who's the most important 5-star.
Hey, how fun is that? That's the kind of conversation that Ohio State fans have, that Miami fans have. That's rather than, hey, where are our playmakers?
I tell you, even though running backs are getting less attention now in both the NFL and college, you still watch games and see these guys take over a game sometimes. Last year in the playoffs, I thought Miami's Mark Fletcher made tough yard after tough yard in its playoff run. You get a guy that can break tackles.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Guys, it's not running back. You're right. It's not the guys that have the breakaway speed. It's the guys that can take contact and keep going and stay on their feet. Balance and strength. Those are the guys these days that make the difference. And maybe DGG is exactly that. The guy that can take 3 or 4 hits and suddenly he's still running 25 more yards.
Yeah, somebody mentioned, I think Ryan Callahan did with 24/7, mentioned Ashton Genty, formerly of Boise State.
Yeah.
He was that kind of runner. The guy just would never give up on a play. And you watch somebody like that play and you see them break tackle after tackle. It might be, he might not make but 5 yards on a play, but that's more impressive than somebody that goes 15 yards when he's got a huge opening.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Miami, that running back was incredible. And then, lo and behold, Carson Beck throws you a pick to end your national championship run.
Really? It came out in the end. He played better than I thought he would at Miami, though.
He did. I know, I'm teasing. He was actually a lot better, especially in the play. The best football he played in college was in the playoffs last year.
And you know what? What the point that you make about with the running back, Miami didn't put the game on Carson Beck.
No,
they tried their offensive line and their ability to run the ball. And that's another way to look at this recruit for Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
If you get a guy that can make the tough yardage, it takes a lot off the quarterback, takes a lot off the receivers, and so it's, you want really good players at all those positions. That's what you're shooting for.
So you want as many of them as you can get. At every position, we want the best players. That's what everybody wants, no doubt about it. Yeah, you're right. If you're telling me we're going to have 4 players that are elite, I'd want my quarterback to be the one that's the SEC player of the year. Like, I know Hendon Hooker wasn't, but Hendon Hooker at quarterback being great is more advantageous to winning ball games than Dylan Sampson, who was SEC player of the year.
Yeah, I think if you went and you could say, if you told me I could get any transfer, could get anybody out of the portal for my not counting quarterbacks, any position player, I would be really tempted to take that slot receiver Malachi Toney at Miami.
Oh my gosh!
Because can you imagine him in Heupel's offense?
Did you know he was only 17 when he played last year?
Oh yeah, I know, and he was a quarter. I think he was.
That's my Ryan Williams Alabama joke that we heard. Hey, he was 17 years old,
okay.
9,000 times.
Okay, yeah, we did hear that a lot, but I would certainly take him over Ryan Williams now. But he's the kind of guy that when he's in the open field, and you talk about how strength of position, if you've got a receiver who gets in the open field, and every time he does, he terrifies the opposing team because he just might elude everybody back there. He's that guy.
Oh yeah, and you have to play against guys like that differently. You have to give them cushion, lots of cushion for sure. No, I think you made a really fantastic point a few minutes ago. You said, how was it you put it? Running back is the only guy, maybe the only position I'd rather have out of high school over the portal, and I think that's spot on. Give me experience everywhere else. That's the one position the NFL does that. The NFL goes out and gets young running backs because they know they're only going to get 2 or 3 years out of them, and they can do just as much as a guy that's been in the league 6, 7 years. I would rather go get youth at running back and everywhere else get experience.
Yeah, because those running backs that still have a lot of tread on the tires, they can peak early in college and pro ball.
Oh yeah, yep. And
thank you, hey Rusty. Thanks. Yeah,
man.
Thank you, Rusty. Yeah, thank you. Here's the only problem, Rusty. Anybody listening? When you start relying on the portal for your needs like that, there might be years where the crop's not real good. Let's remember what you're dealing with portal running backs, unless a freshman goes into the portal. And 9 times out of 10, if they're good and you're dealing with top programs, they're not going to let guys get into the portal. But I think this thing, Rusty's got a good point. Sampson, very good player. Yes, Matt? Very good. Not what they project this kid to be. It would be fun just to see one of these special guys in Heupel's offense. That's why I put him at 2. Because we haven't seen it. Have we seen it anywhere since Heupel's been even a coordinator? Who was the running back that he had at Oklahoma? Do you guys remember? Do you remember, John? Was it?
He had Adrian Peterson at Oklahoma, but that was before he went to the veer and shoot offense.
Yeah.
They were just kind of a spread offense then, not in this modern, his updated offense once he got fired. No.
Who was the Oklahoma running back played for the Cowboys?
DeMarco Murray.
DeMarco Murray.
Yep.
So,
or as they say here, DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, they weren't hurting for running backs at Oklahoma back in the 2000s.
Well, we talk about what it would look like if you got one of the nation's very best running backs. And I'm not downing Dylan Sampson because he was SEC Offensive Player of the Year. But if you got one of these guys, we're talking about the top running backs the last few years. If you got one in Heupel's offense, it would be intriguing to see what he could do.
Yep.
But you know what? It would be the same way if they could get a guy like Malachi Toney at slot receiver from Miami. One of these guys that if he gets the ball in the open field, it's scary. You don't know if you'll be able to tackle him. And it puts so much pressure on a defense. They've got to deal with it schematically. They got to have somebody watching him.
And John, that's one of the reasons why the running back position has been devalued in the NIL world and also in the NFL world. I just looked it up because I was curious, because I don't retain all this information that some people do. What round do you guys think that the quarterback from Miami who was at Florida went in the draft? Off top of your head, John.
Wait, the quarterback at Miami who was at Georgia?
The kid from last year you guys were just talking about. What round did he go in the draft, do you think?
See, I don't even pay attention to the draft anymore.
I understand that.
Okay.
So what round?
I would say 4th.
Carson Beck. How about you, Matt? What round?
Yeah, I was thinking 4th or 5th.
You guys ready for this? How do the Arizona Cardinals stay the worst franchise, one of the worst franchises this side of Jimmy Haslam? They drafted that guy with the 65th overall pick early in the 3rd round, John. Early in the 3rd round. Can you imagine that?
Well, I thought you were going to say they drafted him late in the 1st round. He does have a really nice release. He's got a good arm.
Yes.
Throws a very catchable ball, and he's accurate. And he played better in the playoffs than he ever has in college, I thought. He was
back
more
to the phones.
under
Yeah,
control,
yeah.
So.
Oh, I agree. He was better last year. He got, he's one of the first guys that really got sucked into to the NIL thing and the big money. And I think he turned off a lot of his teammates. He went out and got that $400,000 car. That was that thing like a Maserati or it was something.
Lamborghini.
Yeah, thank you. I was thinking of my Maserati, which does 185, but he lost his license. Now he don't drive. Let's go back to the phones. That song is by, that's the Clown Prince of Rock and Roll. Why am I forgetting his name? Joe Walsh.
Joe Walsh of the Eagles.
From James Gang and the Eagles. Yep. Let's go back to our phones. And I love Joe Walsh's solo stuff too. The Stranger is a great song. Hello and welcome into our next call. Okay. And Kiffin's Wreck Lexus, who's a car person himself, said the worst thing about it was a Lamborghini SUV, which tells you how big of a douche that quarterback is.
That's
a Lamborghini SUV.
Yeah. If you're going to get a Lamborghini, you don't get an SUV.
That sounds like something Butch Jones would drive.
Back to our phones we go.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Butchie boy. Yeah, it's going to be really curious to see Heupel's rush offense. Now, some would say this is already overkill. When you have a Sampson that's willing to put up video game numbers or is capable of putting up video game numbers, why do you need to overspend on the running back position? I could entertain that. But here's the deal. You're getting this guy for the few hard yards he can get in the key games. Remember, when you play SEC football, it's 4 or 5 plays that determine whether or not you win a game. Right, John? That's what you're talking about. You're not talking about statistics. It's 4 or 5 plays.
Yeah, Tony, let's go back to that 2020 Alabama teams. One of the best teams ever in the SEC. Offense was as good as the 2009 LSU team. Four NFL receivers you're throwing to. A really good quarterback. But think of the times when Najee Harris got that extra yards, when he hurdled some defender or just pile drive through a linebacker and made you're so right that in these championship caliber games, it often comes down to that guy who can get hit at the line of scrimmage and still get the first down.
And I'll remind Rusty or any of these other people, because it's a great question, but Ohio State themselves had the Williams kid. No, what was the great freshman we saw that year? It was Williams, right? What's that kid's name, guys, that we saw? They had Carnell Tate. Who was the great freshman receiver who's a video? He's a junior now. Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
Williams, Alabama. I knew that. Yeah. Jeremiah Smith. They had cheat code wide receivers, but they still went, even though they had Henderson in their backfield, they still went to Ole Miss and got that running back, stole him away from Ole Miss, which tells you everything you need to know about the way they viewed the importance of the running game, even though they had cheat code wide receivers that could stretch the field.
Also,
and a senior quarterback in Will Howard.
But see, the fact that's what I like about what Ohio State has done, though. That they never limit themselves. They never say, "Well, we're set here." No, if you could go get this, if you could go get what was his name at Prince, the Ole Miss guy, Judkins.
Judkins, Quinshon.
Because you don't want just one great running back. You want two great running backs.
Yep.
And
back to the phones we go. Why would you stop?
Sure.
Hey, Tennessee, if these people are right, are going to get two high school running backs in the next week. One from West Tennessee and one from Chattanooga by way of the Wildfire.
You have to have multiple running backs. You can't rely on the one guy, especially when you talk about a playoff team. You're playing 15, 16, maybe even 17 games. And especially in the postseason, you're going to have to. You need those guys to still have some tread on the tires and be at their peak, and that's why you got to balance and limit their workload throughout the season. And that's one thing that Ohio State's able to do, especially in their league, they're able to do that. But you can never have too many running backs.
I'd like to have four in the SEC. I'd like to have four approved go into a season, and I've got four proven running backs.
I happen to be fired up, focused, and prepared for tomorrow and pump. Let's go back to the phones, and we will get Richard in here, followed by Dave, and then we're going to call it a day because my chicken and dumplings that my sister's making are calling my name. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Well, Tony, that sounds like the best recipe in the world right there. Some good homemade chicken and dumplings. So, well, hey, here we are, like you said, on the eve of the commitment of DGG. And I think, like I said last week, it's always been pointing to me to Tennessee. First of all, I want to, I don't think he was ever a lot to Ohio State. The only reason why Ohio State thought they had him is because his longest relationship was that running backs coach who went from Oregon to Ohio State. That was the best relationship he had with that one individual. He's known him longer, and for that reason, everybody thought he was a lot. But when it comes down to these big-time wins like this in recruiting, this is when the head coach has to step in and show his mantle. And in this recruiting battle, Josh Heupel completely outsmoked Ryan Day in this one. Heupel made him his, like you said, his centerpiece of this year's class. He worked him hard. He was always there. He worked him the way Philip Fulmer used to work elite recruits, man. Because Philip, to me, like I said, Fulmer was an average head coach, but he was a great recruiter, and that's why he won lots of football games and won the national championship, because he understood the starts and players. And so, to me, I give Josh credit. He knew this, and he gave all the extra effort that it takes from a head coach to win this kind of recruiting battle. And so, first of all, I want to start there and to say, yes, you've got to have elite players. Elite players, when you stack elite talent, it always gives you a better chance of winning games, period. Especially at the level we're playing in this league that we're playing, you gotta have it. And going to Rusty's question, of course, yes, quarterback is always your number one pick. That's where you want to have elite talent. I'm going to change up, and I'm going to say my number two out of these four five-star type kids, elite talent, I'm going to put David Sanders there, because I've got to protect my franchise quarterback, and what better way than to have a franchise type left tackle? Look at the NFL, Tony. Who would the NFL, if the NFL had to pick between a guy that they could say could be a 15-year starter in the NFL and make all pros versus a running back, who they choose?
Well, that's why I would argue why NFL ball and college ball are two different things, Richard. In the NFL, that left tackle is always the guy.
Protecting your quarterback. That's your blind side of a right-handed thrower. And so, to me, he is my number two. I hope he pans out and he's elite. And he has a good year and a good year next year, and he gets that first round draft name. Now, I would put TGG ahead of Keys as far as running back to the receiver, just because, again, it goes back to what you guys were just talking about. John was saying the tough yards, the ability to make people miss and get those tough yards and turn nothing into positive. Dylan Sampson was a wonderful SEC running back, was player of the year that year. Give him all the kudos, but there's a reason why he's always just going to be a role player in the NFL. He don't have the physical size to just be that type of elite running back in the NFL. It's such a difficult league to achieve that anyway, and it's such a physical grind, and that's the difference between what Dylan went to the NFL was, and where this kid, if he pans out and he has his head on straight and he stays healthy, he has the physical makeup, body-wise, to be able to succeed and have a longevity of a career if he stays healthy. And that's a rare combination in running back, is to have the complete package. And I think this kid has so much of the intangibles of what it takes to be elite. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch him in this offense, which again now brings up the linebacker, brings up the safety, allows your tight ends more room, allows your slot receiver to be wide open over the middle, because now the safeties are always in the box. The linebackers think and run. It just brings so much opportunity to this offense. Can't wait.
I got to tell you this right now. You got to get fired up, folks, and prepared. Tomorrow we take the air at 5:30 Eastern. And, Richard, I expect to hear from you tomorrow after it becomes official. I want you breaking it down scientifically in real time.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, and real quick, Tony, I didn't get a chance to talk on the soccer game, on the championship. Would I be correct in saying that even though the game went into overtime and it was 1-0, that was a 1-0 blowout?
Total blowout. Total one-sided hammer job. Argentina got embarrassed. In fact, the way they behaved was embarrassing. Everything about it was embarrassing from the Argentina perspective. They got run off the field is what happened to them.
Well, that's who I thought was going to win it, Tony, because when I was watching teams come down the stretch, the Spain team could control the ball better than any team offensively in soccer. They had 5 or 6 guys out there elite with their feet and could pass and work the defense, get them moving until they scored. I mean, it was pretty. I know the score wasn't big, and a lot of people want a lot of scoring in soccer, but it was fun watching. It's kind of like a team that can just maul you over down after down after down in football and first down until they score, man. It was pretty to watch. Thanks, guys.
Great stuff.
Have a good one.
Thank you, man. Yeah, thank you. We're going to close it out here with Dave, who's up next with us. And then tomorrow, lock and load. Tomorrow we're going to have James Clausen on from Tennessee's NIL to talk about the 5th year anniversary of NIL and all the great work they've done. Also, Watson Brown will be with us on a Wednesday with Watson Brown. Cinco will be in the house. Tomorrow we'll do 2 hours of power and get you ready toward 5:30 tomorrow evening with this back. I'm going to send Watson some film of DGG and ask him how this guy is going to fit in to Tennessee's offense, because that's a tantalizing piece if Tennessee gets home with him tomorrow early evening. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, guys. Dave.
Hey, Dave. Good to talk to you.
Yeah. Just got back from 4 days and over 2,000 miles on the road with my brother.
Oh, I love your brother. Dave's got a brother like my brother. And Dave's brother loves to travel. What's your spot, Dave, you go to with your brother?
Well, he likes to go to, high places and everything. And, he gets on Google and he does his searching for places. But we just did that. Tony, basically, he just likes to ride in the car. He's at peace driving down the road.
He's a special guy. When I met your brother, he's a special guy, no doubt about it. And you got a real heart for him, Dave. The way you spend time with him, I want people to know that. You got a real heart for your brother, which is a sweet thing.
Well, Tony, I'm sure not getting any help from my other brother. So it really came down, to me. And I was taking him places before that anyway. But we got Reed situated, and he's in his new place with a family. It's a great, and he's adjusted so well.
Nice.
It's a beautiful place out in South Knoxville.
Nice.
Out in the country. And,
nice.
It's fantastic. And it took a lot off me. And we moved him in there on June 1st.
Well, my brother lives in a group home himself, kind of a similar type thing. And it's such a wonderful atmosphere for him. It's nurturing and it's just a great thing. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. And he's adjusted well. He's happy. And I mean, he still calls me several times a day, and and I still have to go get him and take him places. But we just got in the car and we went to see some relatives. We had a cousin on my dad's side that I hadn't seen since 2000, and she lives in Omaha. We drove over to Omaha. We got relatives in, of course, around the St. Louis area and Illinois and Springfield, Missouri, and then we came home. So,
nice. And you came home, hey, Dave, you came home to a positive show today, and I want John Adams to know, Dave has been a positive force and a stalwart fighting the good fight for Tennessee over on the board today with some of these idiots that inhabit the YouTube chat. And Dave, you went out there and fought the good fight today.
I don't know what it is about guys that want to go on other teams' sports forums and shows and troll. I just don't. I just never understood that. But
Matt, what do you think of guys like that want to go on the other team's boards and troll people? Matt, what do you think of that?
They're searching deep to find enjoyment in their life, which is kind of sad. I don't understand it either.
I think Dave,
John?
I think Dave would be really good at that.
But he wouldn't do it. But
Well,
Dave wouldn't.
I know,
Dave,
but I'm
Dave's too busy trolling his own fan base.
I know. I would. Yeah, but
You know what I mean, John? He's too busy ripping his own team. And people think that Dave's an act. John, since we've been doing business with Dave on here, do you think Dave's an act, John?
no, not at all.
No.
Well,
Dave
if you understand, Tony,
Dave's miserable on all sports and equally miserable.
And I am elated, happy to be wrong every time. I'm happy to be wrong about DGG. So happy to be wrong about Coach Barnes. Happy to be wrong about Duke Harris. Happy to be wrong about all of it. The bottom line, I just want us to win. Period.
Hey, John, Dave is so negative that he sent me a text one night because, and I am not kidding you, he was all tore up over the Tennessee basketball team for the coming season because the guy in Philadelphia that has like 9 chins, what's the guy's name? Lenardi. The guy looks like he's never pushed away a plate of spaghetti put in front of him. Anyway, he had the Vols, John, as a 4 seed. And Dave was freaking out in a series of texts to me late at night, John, because some guy in May, the year before, 7 months before basketball's dribbled, had him as a 4 seed, John. Respond to that, please.
That's a time to take personal inventory, Dave.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's borderline degenerate behavior, Dave.
I'm happy to be wrong. I am.
Well, you're a degenerate, actually. You love your brother, and I love that you love your brother. But texting me regarding where, like, somebody has Tennessee's lineup, or who cares about Lenardi's opinion a year out? We haven't dribbled a basketball yet.
I know.
How excited are you for DGG tomorrow, Dave? How excited are you?
Well, I have this thing where I want to go watch his highlights. I've never watched his highlights because any player we recruit, if I go watch their highlights, I think I'm going to jinx us getting him. So I have to wait until after he commits tomorrow. Then I'll go watch his highlights. So, but
hey, Dave, really he's excellent. Dave, somebody about you said the following. This is from BH0816. I can't hate on Dave now that I know he takes care of his brother like that. Stop sharing personal details that humanize people. See that, John?
Yeah, that's not what you want on talk radio. You don't want to show any human qualities.
Yes. You want to stay 2-dimensional, Dave, so we can rip you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave. Love you. Thank you.
Tony, Before you
Thank you.
Before you were in this business, when
Yeah.
you were just you had group settings, you went different places, you met with people. Did you have a problem saying goodbye, leaving?
John Adams, presented by the great Jennifer Morris, Next Move, SmokyMountains.com. I do want to shout out lovely Laura today and the great job she did. Thank you to Matt Dixon as well. I want to remind you that it's high noon somewhere and the sun's up. Always time for another high noon. Kick back. Let's do it. We did it today. Only 100 calories, no sugar added, 14 flavors to choose from. Black cherry will knock you out. Remember, high noon vodka iced tea as well, 6 refreshing flavors, peach and lemon, green tea, half and half. And if you're feeling adventurous, high noon tequila seltzer, 6 refreshing flavors, including orange blood. And there will be an orange moon in the sky tonight, blood orange, not crimson. It won't look like a Buckeye. It'll be on full display, looking like a big orange. High Noon Real Vodka, real fruit juice. Live like that sun is always out. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. 21 and over. Enjoy responsibly. Matt, John, thank you, guys.
Thanks. And I'd like to say I miss Brian today.
And I'd like to say I didn't. We love you. Thank you. Peace.